Once upon a time, a hunter approached Gautam Buddha with a sense of desperation in his heart. He had been a hunter all his life, and he had always believed that meat is the only source of protein and nutrition. But his son had stopped eating meat, and he was worried that the boy was not getting enough nutrition. When he explained his situation to Buddha, the sage listened patiently and then asked him a question. "Do you love your son?" The hunter replied, "Of course, I love him more than anything in the world. But he is not getting enough nutrition, and I don't know what to do." Buddha smiled gently and said, "If you love your son so much, why would you want to feed him something that causes suffering and pain to other beings?" The hunter was taken aback by this question. He had never considered the suffering of the animals he hunted. He had always believed that it was a necessary part of life. "But meat is the only source of protein and nutrition," he protested. Buddha shook his head. "There are many sources of protein and nutrition besides meat. Have you ever tried fruits, vegetables, and grains? They are all excellent sources of nutrition." The hunter looked skeptical. "But my son does not like those things." Buddha smiled again. "Children often refuse to eat things they haven't tried before. Why don't you try introducing new foods to him slowly? Start with small portions and gradually increase the amount. And make sure to make the food delicious and appealing to his taste buds." The hunter listened to Buddha's words and felt a knot form in his stomach. He had never thought about the suffering of the animals he hunted before. He had always believed that it was a necessary part of life. Buddha noticed the hunter's reaction and spoke gently. "Do you see the suffering of the animals you hunt?" The hunter shifted uneasily. "I have never really thought about it. Hunting is what my family has always done. It's how we survive." Buddha nodded understandingly. "I understand that you have been raised in this way, but have you ever considered the impact of your actions on other beings?" The hunter shook his head. "No, I haven't." Buddha continued, "Every being, whether human or animal, desires happiness and freedom from suffering. By causing harm to other beings, we create negative karma and sow the seeds of our own suffering." The hunter nodded slowly, thinking over Buddha's words. He realized that he had never considered the impact of his actions on other beings. He felt a deep sense of shame and guilt. "I had no idea," he said softly. Buddha placed a comforting hand on the hunter's shoulder. "Don't be too hard on yourself. The fact that you are here shows that you are open to change. With awareness and understanding, we can all become more compassionate and kind towards all beings." The hunter sat quietly for a moment, taking in Buddha's words. He looked up at the wise sage and asked, "But what about the animals? Don't they have to eat meat to survive too?" Buddha nodded. "Of course they do, but we must find a way to meet our needs without causing harm to others." There are many ways to nourish our bodies that do not involve killing. The hunter frowned. But hunting is the only way I know how to feed my family. What other options do I have? Buddha smiled gently. There are many options available to you. If you are open to them, you could grow your own vegetables, gather fruits and nuts from the forest, or trade with others for food. There are many ways to meet our needs without causing harm to other beings. The hunter looked skeptical. But is that enough? Can we really survive without meat? Buddha nodded. Yes, we can. In fact, a vegetarian diet can be just as nutritious and satisfying as a meat-based diet. And it is better for our health, the environment, and the well-being of all living beings. The hunter thought for a moment, then asked, "But what about the animals that are already dead? Shouldn't we use their meat instead of letting it go to waste?" Buddha replied, "If an animal has already died, then we can use its meat. But we should not actively seek to cause harm to other beings. We should not kill for pleasure or convenience." The hunter sat quietly, contemplating Buddha's words. He realized that he had been blind to the suffering he was causing and that there were other ways to live that did not involve killing. He felt a sense of peace and clarity wash over him. "Thank you, Buddha," he said. "I will do my best to live a life of compassion and kindness towards all living beings." Buddha smiled. "I have faith that you will, my friend. The path of compassion is not always easy, but it is always worth it." The hunter looked up at Buddha with gratitude in his eyes. He realized that he had much to learn, but he was eager to start on the path towards enlightenment. And with those words, the hunter left Buddha's presence, feeling inspired and hopeful for the first time in a long time. Friends, this story highlights the importance of compassion and the impact of our actions on others. We must remember that every being desires happiness and freedom from suffering, and it is up to us to find ways to meet our needs without causing harm to others. We can all learn from the hunter's realization and strive to live a more compassionate life. It may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. Let us all take Buddha's words to heart and work towards a kinder, more compassionate world. Thank you very much. Don't forget to comment,